Hello students, let's learn some new things in chapter 15, visualizing solid shapes. This is last exercise and we will finish this exercise today. So this last chapter of this class 7 mathematics will be over today. As we have learned in last exercise 15.3 about viewing different sections of a solid. In this we have learned about our first way of viewing different sections of solid using slicing method. Now second way we will learn today, it is a shadow play. A shadow play is a kind of a game which you have played and right now you can play also, in which whenever from the balcony or from the window or from the door sunlight is radiating, when you put something, for an example, if your hand you put against the wall when sunlight is radiating, your shadow of your hand you can see on a wall like this. This kind of play is called shadow play, and we will use this shadow play to view different sections of a solid. Here in this second picture you can see that there is a torch there, and in this part there is a one plank or a one wall there, and in between torch and the wall there is a one solid shape is there, which is nothing but a cone. Now when we switch on the torch light will radiate on the cone and we can see the cone's shadow on this plank or on this board, and it is nothing but a triangle. Here also you can see that here there is a cup there and sun's light is radiating on the cup, and here we can see that its shadow. Here you can see that one person has used his hands to look that the shadow which we can see on the wall, it looks like a rabbit. So these are called a shadow play, and now we will use this kind of shadow play to identify different shapes. So let's start to solve exercise 15.4. Question number 1. A bulb is kept burning just right above the following solids. Name the shape of the shadows obtained in each case. Attempt to give a rough sketch of the shadow. So first a ball. Now here we can see that this bulb is kept above the ball, and when bulb is on, its light is radiating on the ball and we can see the shadow on the floor, and that shadow is nothing but a circle. So the shape of the shadow of a ball will be a circle. Next, a cylindrical pipe. So here when we put a cylindrical pipe below the bulb, its shadow when we see it looks like rectangle. For an example, here also in this second figure, one cylinder pipe like a structure which is nothing but a can is there. Now you have seen this cold drink can. Now when we use in a different way, that means we using a torch, when we radiate the light of the torch on the can, it is nothing but one kind of a cylinder. Its shadow we can see, it is also a rectangle. So for any kind of cylindrical pipe, when the bulb is radiating its light on a cylinder, we get the shadow of a rectangle. So the shape of the shadow of a circular pipe will be a rectangle. Next, third one, a book. Here a book is there and bulb is above the book, its light is radiating on the book, and we can see the shadow. It's also a rectangle. The shape of the shadow of a book will be a rectangle. Now next question, question number 2. Here are the shadows of some 3D objects when seen under the lamp of an overhead projector. Identify the solids that match each shadow. There may be multiple answers for this. Here this is a reverse kind of question from question 1. Here the shadow is given and we have to identify the solid. Which kind of solid is used when the light reflecting on the solid, we get this kind of shadow. So first is a circle, then square, triangle and rectangle. So we will start with a circle. So here for a circle, a shadow is a circle. So the objects are the 3D objects, that means solids are nothing but chapati, football, disc, plate, etc. In the question already given, there may be multiple answer for this, and yes, there may be multiple answer for this. It could be chapati, football, disc, plate, etc. Football also be there, or small cricket ball also be there. And in for this all solid shapes, when these solid shapes are put down on a below any bulb, its projection what we get, it is nothing but circle. Next, a square. A shadow is a square. So the solid, a 3D objects from which its shadow we get square, these are nothing but die, square paper sheet, cubicle magic box, chalk box, etc. That means all the shapes are nothing but like a cube, solid cube. Next, a triangle. A triangle shadow. For that, the solid objects from which we get the shadow of a triangle, they are nothing but ice cream cone, birthday cake and etc. And last one, a rectangle. From the solids from which we get a shadow of rectangle, they are nothing but geometry box, book, table, etc. Also we can say any cylindrical kind of shape. Last question of this exercise, question number 3. Examine if the following are true statements. Number 1, the cube can cast a shadow in the shape of a rectangle, and number 2, the cube can cast a shadow in the shape of a hexagon. Now already we have seen in question 1, question 2 and in also exercise 15.3, a cube, when we use cube, its shadow will be only a square. If we slice cube, we get a square only. So here a shadow of a cube will be only square, not any other shape. So this first statement says that the cube can cast a shadow in the shape of a rectangle. It is a false statement. And second number, the cube can cast a shadow in the shape of a hexagon. It's also a false statement. So answer is, a cube can cast shadow only in the shape of a square. Therefore any other shapes are not possible. So this exercise over. Now after this exercise, there is a one topic there in your textbook that we will see. Now this last topic of this chapter, as we have learned in viewing different section of the solid, first way we have learned, it is nothing but a slicing method, a slicing game. Then we have learned about second method, which is nothing but a shadow play. And this last, a third way to look a viewing a different section of a solid is looking at it from certain angles to get different views. Here this picture you can see, here there is a monkey. It is seeing one house from front, from side, and after climbing the tree from top. So these are the three views from certain angles when we see some solid object. we can see these three views: front, side and top view. Let's see one examples. Here the question is given, for each solid the three views 1, 2 and 3 are given. Identify for each solid the corresponding top, front and side views. So first solid, so from top when we see this solid, it looks like there are three squares which are put side by side, 1, 2 and 3. So here this first and this third, these are the two views which looks exactly same, having three squares side by side. So this first view or third, we can say from first and third, one is a top view. So first is, we will say that this first is a top view for this solid. Now from front when we see this solid, we can see these three squares 1, 2 and 3. So here this third figure, we will say that this third figure is a front view of the solid. And now when we see from side this solid, we can see only a one square, only one square we can see, and therefore this second view is a side view for this solid. Next, here this solid is given. Now when we see from top, we can see this 1, 2 and 3 squares side by side. So therefore this first view is nothing but a top view for this solid. Next, from front when we see, we can see 1, 2 and 3 and 4 squares, where 3 squares are put side by side and 1 square is put on the top of the middle square. So this figure, this third view is nothing but a front view for the solid. And now when we see for a side view, when we see from side, we can see 1 and 2 squares which are put one above the other here. So this is second figure is nothing but, this second view is nothing but a side view for the solid. Now this third and last figure, here this is a solid, we can see total 5 cubes are there, 1, 2, 3 and other fourth cube which we cannot see here in the figure, but it is there, and in top of that cube this is another cube. So total 5 cubes are there in this solid figure. Now here we can see that when we see from top, so from top view we can see 1, 2, 3 and this fourth square which are put in a such a way that it makes a square figure, a big square figure, and this third view is nothing but a top view for this solid. Now for front view, from front when we see this solid, we see this 1 and 2 squares. Here in left hand side square, in top of the left hand side we will see another square. So total we see 1, 2 and 3 square, where in left hand side there are 2 squares. So here when we see this second view, it is nothing but a top view for the solid. Here we can see that there are 2 squares are there. In left hand side square there is another square which is on the top of the left hand side square. When we see this solid from the side view, we can see 1, 2 and 3 square, and when we see, we can see that in this there are 2 squares are side by side, and on right hand side square there is another square on top of the right hand side square. So total 3 squares. So here this first view, here we can see that left and right hand side square, and on right hand side square on the top there is another square, total 3 square. So this is a side view. Do not confuse between this side and front view, because in front view the view is different. Here in front view we can see that on left hand side there are 2 squares, one are each above the another, and in side view in right hand side there are 2 squares. Okay, so this is the last topic. This chapter is over. Thank you.